Hello everyone, it's time for another part of playthrough from the Rich Trophy, and today I have a bit longer episode with, I might say, another set of race bikes, but the first event actually is a one make type of race. So before I start, I need to adjust everything. As you know also, scooters have roller weights instead of gear ratio, so let's keep it at 10 level. I guess everything is alright. When I don't have any upgrades to buy, the machine setup is much simpler and faster. So, the first event I have today is TMAX Cup, then 2-stroke series and some sort of classic bikes series after that. 3 races in TMAX Cup, that means not very long episode actually. So, first race takes place at New York, 3 laps around the track. Iconic track in Manhattan, because we are driving from Times Square to Broadway, not too far from Central Park. And I'm also driving on a Yamaha TMAX, which is also race modified. Have a lot of horsepower and good max speed. Yeah, just to make sure I don't do any mistakes over here, because I don't want to crash and fall off my bike. Alright, that's fine. I also kept this outfit from last episode because I actually think that this is the perfect outfit actually to pass this game. With it put on the driver, the bike rider, I mean. Almost 200 kilometers per hour. It's not so bad. Perfect music for bike racing. Again, a bit of distorted electro music. And final lap. Alright. Now I only need to pass through this section without any mistakes. And the race is done. After this, I might have a chance to pass another track. And also I need to check out all those prize bikes I might afford today. Perfect. So, next race. Let's see how the next track will play out. Because right now I have Apricot Hill Raceway, which is a fast track. The problem is many of those original Gran Turismo circuits are much easier if you are driving a car in Gran Turismo. In Tourist Trophy, it's a completely different level because those tracks were originally designed for car racing. Luckily, this section is not that much difficult for now. I can pass one opponent, and also a great song by Vitalik plays out. Perfect. Almost 4 seconds of gap to the leader of the race. perfect. There's all I need. Electro Clash music this time, much better. And it looks like, at least for this particular scooter, this track is not that much difficult. I mean, it's not a very simple race, but luckily opponents are slow. Okay, my bad. This race was not so much difficult as I expected. But yeah, you need to gain some experience on those tracks. Precisely. But the second race was not that much difficult, which is a plus. Okay, so I have only one last race left. And I enjoyed a good cup of coffee. 3 laps around iconic Road 246 in Tokyo. The best thing about this particular track is the fact that despite having fast complex corners and various chicanes, other problems, I mean sections that were actually very difficult for me when I was passing the license test, super license test number 8 from Gran Turismo 4, the one on the Takara Dome NSX. This particular Japan GT car lost traction on few sections, and it was very difficult to actually keep it under control and afford the gold medal. So you know, also you need to watch out because this is a city course, so anything that is outside of the track might actually hurt you very badly. Also, let's see how on this particular track in Tokyo, how fast can I go? 196 kilometers per hour is not so bad. Perfect. Another chance to go almost 200 kilometers per hour. Race modified, but still, this is a scooter. And the final lap begins. Now, for final lap, I'm curious. What is the prize bike after this particular event actually? It's done. I passed all 3 races, and the only thing that matters right now is the prize bike I get from this event and how difficult the next ones would be, because that might actually be a set of difficult events today. So let's see the prize bike, because the championship is over. Okay, so I got new riding gear. Replicas, but honestly I don't care. Might be useful later. Enterprise car is race modified Yamaha, but not TMAX, rather FZR. Not so bad, could be useful. And also, as this is a championship, I obtained a special racing number. I'm number 1 on this bike. So yeah, this is a special number, so might be a good signature. That was the bike that passed a difficult championship.
Alright, so I took care of TMAX Cup. Now it's time for another set of events, especially two-stroke series and this last event I have for today. Those were 3 very easy races, but now I have two-stroke series and 80s Heroes series, which basically is similar to two-stroke series. So I need to go to my garage and take a better bike for this particular set of events. I acquired a lot of street versions, but those are not needed right now. I don't need normal bikes, I need a race modified one. Possibly this Yamaha RZ250 race modified would be good. Let's see in the settings. Let's see what I can do here. Perhaps this particular model could be good enough. Or perhaps I will keep it for the next event, I don't know. What else I can do? Oh, this particular model would be good. 49 horsepower. This particular model have only 47. But TZR 250 might be a better choice. Let's check it out. Because 40 horsepower and 49 in this particular instant makes a lot of sense. Especially as I have Grand Valley section on touring and 80s version of Fuji Speedway. So the speed is more important right now than handling. And as you can see, I have other very fast versions, so let's check out this particular bike. 47 horsepower, so it's not so bad. Let's get hard tires because I don't want, despite having only 2 or 3 laps, having problems with tire wear, because in Gran Turismo 4 and Tourist Trophy this tire wear is overrated as all hell. Seriously, every few laps you need to change tires. In those games this is just bizarre in my opinion. I have 5 laps around Grand Valley East section and I have a fast enough bike, 47 horsepower, so it's not so bad. Perhaps there could be a challenge with TZR 250 SPR RM, but being honest, I don't really care about that much. Honestly, all I care about right now is just overtaking all my opponents through those 5 laps and drive fast enough so I would not bother myself with all of this. Alright, that was a dirty overtake, but it was satisfying. Now I have only 4 seconds gap. That means driving fast on this motorbike would be beneficial for me, especially after those other races I have yet to complete. Alright, this worked out fine. Now I have less than 3 seconds gap. That means this particular race would be a bit easier. Surely this SPR edition, I might say special racing edition, but I'm not sure if those initials mean that. But yeah, at least I'm gaining advantage, and I'm getting closer to the leader of the race, this race particularly. So let's see. I still have 3 laps to finish this race, so no problems here. Perfect. Now I can use slipstream. I'm driving 230 kilometers per hour. And I am the leader right now. First place. Cutting all those difficult sections because driving physics in this trophy aren't so. This is difficult actually, but you know, if someone asks me if this is 100% the real riding simulator, I might say not 100%. So maybe that's why I am so courageous with cutting corners and driving through grass on a motorbike. Well, thanks to all of this, I got to first place and finished this particular challenge. And as you can see, I had only 3 seconds from the opponent at the second place. So let's see how all this would work out in the next race, because after Grand Valley East I have on touring again 5 laps, so this particular race would be also a bit difficult, especially considering the fact that this section not far out from start finish line is the section that I usually in Gran Turismo Concept, in Gran Turismo 4, possibly also in Tourist Trophy, I had actually a chance to cut this section over here, drive on it like a maniac, because I had a chance. The game let me do it. Right now I have 7 seconds gap. I started probably with 10 seconds gap this 5-lap race. So you know, it's how this game works out. Alright, 6 seconds gap and I'm on second place. So let's check it out. Damn, too fast. Almost 6 seconds. Thankfully I have 4 laps to the end. Alright, this particular race is a bit difficult. I still have 4 seconds gap to take on this track. Only 3 laps left. So in that case, it might actually look like Tourist Trophy is a bit more difficult game. Possibly because of no upgrades rather than sports muffler for street bikes, all of that stuff. But beside of that, this particular game is all about skills. Possibly just like Gran Turismo Concept and Gran Turismo 4 Prologue, because there we also did not have any tuning parts. Alright, luckily I got close enough. So let's see, only 2 laps left, and I have to overtake him. Let's do it. Alright, final lap. Got auto ring. After that, all I have to do is drive fast enough on Fuji Speedway, the 80th edition, so that this SPR edition of Yamaha could catch up with me. Alright, the second race is finished. Now it's only a matter of time if and how I could win this third final race. The race is over. Now it's time for the final challenge. Race number 3 of 3-stroke series. Again, 5 laps around Fuji Speedway from the 80s. That means the old edition without that fast section after start finish line, but without chicanes also, like in the 90s. So, a fast track that will be interesting, if not also for a few motorcycle and Grand Prix accidents. Luckily, this edition of Fuji Speedway is not that much difficult, and I also have this motor driving style turned on, so I would not fall off the bike at this particular section over here, because this is the most difficult section of Fuji Speedway, especially in Trick Trophy. I can only drive 240 km per hour. So I got to change the ratio a bit more. But 240 km per hour is still not so bad. I can still catch up to this opponent in the first place. only 2 seconds gap, but I still drive 240 kilometers per hour, so just by driving fast on this long straight section, I actually have a chance to overtake now this opponent. Now, for those 3 laps, I only need to keep the first place and win this competition. Alright, only 2 laps left. And now I have 2 seconds lead. And now the final lap. Honestly, this particular race is a bit exciting, but there is not much else to say rather than just driving all those 5 laps to the finish line, mostly because of only 3 opponents and not many changes in those particular events. Especially considering also the fact that I can't make too many mistakes because I'm driving carefully using a motorbike. Also, I don't have any upgrades available. I have only machine setup. This racing bike, have everything prepared, racing muffler, all of that stuff, and that's just it. You know, you have quick tune-up in arcade mode, but beside of that, there's actually no tune shop, nothing like that. Well, at least you can actually see that having the best bike in your collection, while also the challenge mode is very important, and I actually decided to pass it as a whole. A full challenge mode was passed by myself just a few months ago, especially because I need to consider testing out various motorbikes for specific events, because one motorbike is the fastest, one have better handling, and one is lighter. So it helps actually in on difficult tracks, like especially on Touring, Grand Valley, or possibly even, I don't know, Valencia. Luckily this 2-stroke series is finished. Now I only have 80 Heroes series, so basically 80's Heroes series would be almost the same as this event two-stroke series I passed. But who cares? I have a fast bike from the 80s. I also acquired riding gear, and also I passed this event and afforded Honda VFR 400 race modified from 1989. There is a possibility that this particular bike would be fast enough for the last event today. Also, obviously, I obtained a special racing number because I finished this event in the first place. So, 90s Heroes Series, there's a chance to check out this VFR 400 race modified. Perhaps I would have a chance to check out if there are any faster bikes, actually. So let's check out the list from the 80s, because I remember we had GSXR 400, but this is not the same bike. This is not a two-stroke engine. Let's see, 90 horsepower. Honda from 1985. This particular have only 47 horsepower. Let's see again. I might actually just take the chance and check out this Honda motorbike. Honda NS 400R race modified from 1985. Damn it, it's not available. I can't pass this next event with this particular motorbike. Such a shame. So let's check out again. GSXR 400 race modified. GPZ 400R, also not. Or maybe this GSXR 400. I don't know, obviously. I just need now to check out the fastest bikes I can afford for specific events, because bad selection could actually make me lose everything. You need the fastest bikes for various events, because there are no upgrades. There is no chance to win specific bikes, specific events. You could actually wish me luck, but it doesn't mean that I would be able to pass those events. So now I have 80s Heroes Series, which basically means the same, almost the same event as the previous one, but we have 3 different tracks and a bit faster bikes, obviously, because now we are racing on bikes from the 80s. I also have Honda VFR 400, but I don't care. This particular Suzuki GSXR 400 might be fast enough to actually win this challenge, so let's give it a try. Despite having only 68 horsepower, this would be a good enough bike to check it out. I'm also saying that this particular Suzuki bike have only 70 horsepower, while one of the opponent's bikes probably have 80 to 90. But honestly, I don't care so much. I have 5 laps for each race, and I have longer tracks. I have original GT circuits, Grand Valley Speedway, Midfield, and also Trail Mountain. So this particular race will be an interesting one. Alright, so it looks like this particular race would not be so difficult. Alright. Grand Valley Speedway is a very long track. Luckily, I have. After that, I have only Midfield Raceway and Real Mountain. So let's take the chance. Too wide. Alright, so after this race, I might actually consider making a little challenge, because 5 laps around this track, Grand Valley Speedway, despite having good music in the background and fast enough bike, sometimes those particular races, if you get away too fast from your opponents, after this you only think about, alright, I'm in the first place, nothing else might be happening. Now I just need to drive fast enough to go to the finish line at first place. Only 2 laps left. Luckily I got far away from my opponents, so now if I don't make any mistakes, there is no possibility that I might lose this particular challenge. So it's not such a bad idea. Some ways. Alright, so I got a long lead distance, as I used to call it a few years ago even. So this final lap is just a small breeze. Because right now all that matters is just getting on the first place without any mistakes to the finish line. And honestly, this final lap is also the reason why I choose for all events hard tires. Surely in real life hard tires take much longer to heat up, but in Gran Turismo 4 I also saw it, and in Tourist Trophy especially it is a big problem because tire wear. Tourist Trophy don't even have working pit stops. So for those 5 laps, if I don't have hard tires, there's a possibility that I would not be able to actually change those tires, go to the pit stop, and honestly, many races would be failed that way. It's ironic that for Tourist Trophy they've made the real riding simulator, while in fact it is just a percentage of Gran Turismo content. A lot of motorbikes that mostly would be available thanks to challenge mode, like in Gran Turismo 4 Prologue, because there is no currency in this game programmed, and also all pit stops in Tourist Trophy editions of all tracks are closed, because who cares? The longest races you might actually consider will probably have 5 laps, maybe 7. I don't honestly think that more than 10 laps would actually be considered, judging by the fact how those tires get hot so fast. Luckily this long race was not such a big problem, also because those tires didn't have a chance to burn out too fast. So yeah. So I took care of this first race. Now let's go to the second location. After Grand Valley Speedway I have midfield. There it is, Midfield Raceway. So over here I have 5 laps, and the best thing about this particular track is that it's a nice experience. Yes, it is difficult in few sections, but despite all of this, I have a feeling that Midfield Raceway is a perfect track to for a test drive on those fast racing bikes. Because this section I have over here is simple, you just drive fast. However, after this tunnel section, we have this difficult long hairpin, as I call it, and as you can see, it's almost like on oval tracks. The elevation changes, everything, and you might actually need to watch out or choose motored driving style, because it is just difficult. It is simply difficult to keep this bike steady without falling out of it. Also, I'm not too far out from my opponent. Got 250 kilometers per hour. Overtook him. Now, through those laps, 4 laps left, I need to drive fast enough so this race would not be so difficult at all. Unless I make a huge mistake, like I almost did now. What I also like about this particular track is the fact that I have 5 laps, but this Midfield Raceway is much shorter. It is more difficult, in my opinion, than Grand Valley Speedway, in this game especially, but it is a shorter track, so Midfield Raceway and Trial Mountain could be a better chance at learning the basics of cornering, driving fast, not touching the walls or rocks, because in tourist trophy it simply means a fail, really hurtful fail, so you need to watch out. Another time I am driving through this difficult long hairpin. Another best lap, and also I have 2 laps left, over 240 kilometers per hour without slipstream. That's perfect. And I got far away from all other drivers, 9 seconds. Perfect. Another best lap time. And the final lap begins. It looks like I probably mastered this track, at least on this motorbike, because honestly I know that this Midfield Raceway would actually be available in more difficult events later on, so as it is said, this experience might come in handy. No chances of another best lap time, but I finished the race in first place. So I might actually say it was a great experience. Ironically, Honda VFR 400, which I acquired in the last event, again finished at last place. That's interesting. So, it's time for the last challenge for today. Third final race from 80s Heroes series. And it is a final race, 5 laps around Trial Mountain circuit. So 5 laps means that this track would be much more difficult because we have more twisty sections, blind corners, rocks outside of track, and anything else. So yeah, this particular track might be a pain in the ass for few less experienced players of Tourist Trophy, despite having a huge experience from Gran Turismo. Well, yeah. Alright, so before the first lap ends, I have a chance again to overtake the leader of this race. So, thanks to this, now through all other laps, I can just drive fast, don't make any mistakes, and win this championship. Perfect, almost 220 kilometers per hour. Although there was a big jump, I was not scared. Because I don't sense fear in this game. Because it is just a game. In real life, I would not be stupid enough to drive this fast. Only 3 laps left, and I get away from my opponents. That means this particular race would also be difficult for artificial intelligence. Alright. In Tourist Trophy, this particular chicane is a very difficult section. That's why I never thought about cutting it in Tourist Trophy. In Gran Turismo 3 and Gran Turismo 4 it was a piece of cake. But in Tourist Trophy, cutting this section and then getting pushed into that big jump, falling off a bike. Whoa, that might be horrific. Alright, so the final lap in this episode. 5th lap on Trail Mountain Circuit. I got so far away from my opponents, there are no chances that they would catch up to me. Over 12 seconds. And also, despite making this mistake, damn it, because I lost my focus. The tire wear is not very bad, so that means this bike still have great handling. There are no problems with steering and driving fast, so that's a really good thing. Alright, so I finished all those 3 championships. I finished TMAX Cup, 2-stroke bike series, and 80s Heroes series. I acquired 1st place in all races, so those 3 events are perfectly won. So now I only need to acquire the final prize bike, and I'm golden. So let's see the prize from the 80s Heroes series. Alright, so again I acquired riding gear. Just a helmet. Don't really care about that, but fine, whatever. And I acquired a perfect bike for later events, because this is Suzuka 8-hour endurance race edition of Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R. And I also acquired special equipment for this particular bike, because you know, Suzuka 8-hour endurance race, team's outfit, team's bike, all of that stuff. I also acquired special racing number. So, that's the end of the video. Stay tuned for the next video and have a nice day.